Nearly 2 years after his retirement, Danielle Harris opens up about Bruce Willis's highly publicized health concerns. Harris starred with the action genre veteran in the 1991 buddy comedy The Last Boy Scout, in which Willis starred as an alcoholic private detective working with a former football star investigating a conspiracy involving the U.S. government and sports gambling. Willis's family announced the Golden Globe winner would be retiring from acting in early 2022 due to an aphasia diagnosis, resulting in an outpouring of love from many of his prior collaborators. While speaking with Screen Rant for her psychological thriller Dark Obsession, Harris was asked about her thoughts on Willis's health concerns after working with him on The Last Boy Scout. The star felt it was devastating to hear of his retirement, recalling her first day on set in which she initially felt put off by a comment he made, only to later realize it was not only his sense of humor, but also a huge compliment from him. See what Harris said below. Why The Last Boy Scout remains an underrated Bruce Willis gem. Released just a few years after his blockbuster turn in Die Hard, The Last Boy Scout was seen as one of his more modestly successful releases in the 90s outside of the John McClane-fronted franchise. The decade saw him star in a variety of critical and commercial misfires, including The Bonfire of the Vanities, Last Man Standing and The Jackal, among others. While some have gone on to enjoy cult followings since their releases, including Hudson Hawk, it's ultimately the 1991 action comedy that remains one of his more underrated from the era. One of the biggest reasons The Last Boy Scout remained such an enjoyable time was thanks to its writer, Shane Black. Fresh off the success of Lethal Weapon, the movie featured many of the screenwriter's trademarks, including a troubled protagonist, a thoroughly dark sense of humor and plenty of action set pieces to accompany its sincere character work. Black has infamously spoken out about his dissatisfaction with the final product of the movie and its troubled production, but those familiar with his work can still feel much of his unique voice throughout. Though Willis may have been one of the reported factors behind the movie's troubled production, his and Black's sensibilities largely lined up for The Last Boy Scout. Willis's character could easily have come across as a grating and cynical person, but between Black's writing and the star's ability to deliver many of his lines with a dry smirk and quick wit not only made him a thrill to watch, but also one of the Golden Globe winner's best characters in his career. With iconic action director Tony Scott at the helm for the movie and a talented ensemble behind him, it's easy to see why The Last Boy Scout has amassed its cult following over the years.